Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever it is, wherever you are. Thank you once again for listening to the Backlog Busting Project. This is the 7th episode. My name is Wes. With me, as always, is Randy.
Hey, we're back. And I'm not as happy as I have been in the last few episodes.
Yeah, this has kind of been a rough episode in general for a variety of reasons.
The games I had to play were not to my expectations.
Also, I love how we just kind of talked over each other about two completely different things for a second there.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But, let's just jump right into it for right now. We'll get to some... No, actually, first we'll address some of the problems I think we've been kind of having. We have had a bit of a schedule slip, blog-wise.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Well, he hasn't been posting blogs to the actual website. I've been kind of slacking with my duties to 411, doing views from the backlog. We both have kind of had busy real lives, and I think we kind of chose different things to prioritize. We'll put it that way.
Well, okay, so it's a busy schedule. Different things are coming up, and we are prepping for our big August Metal Gear month, so that's taking a lot of time. I can never think of anything fun to write about.
Yeah.
So we'll work on it. We're improving.
Yeah.
Bear with us. We're new to this, and we're getting there.
Yep, we're getting there. So we'll try. I'll try to get to. I'll try to get at least one out. I may be able to pump out 2 views from the backlog this episode, but we'll see. That all being said, let's go ahead and go right into the podcast itself now. We're going to start out with Player Nay, which has been really barren the last couple of episodes, to the point where we have not done any more Player Nay in a while. And I think that's another point we need to discuss real quick.
Yeah,
I think from now on, we're not going... If it happens, it happens, but there may not be a post on the Thursday of the episode, unless we are either doing a more Player Nay or one of us feeling particularly inspired.
Which neither seems to ever happen. But so,
that's okay. Just because, especially right now, it's E3 season, there's not a lot of releasing going on, apart from ports, which is 3/5 of our lineup this week.
Just a lot of rumors and...
speculation and very obvious fakes that I'm amazed anybody ever falls for.
And 10-second Doom trailers.
Oh, God. Don't even get me started on that fucking Doom trailer. Ugh.
It got you excited, didn't it?
No, it didn't, because I'm not really a Doom fan. I'm just sitting there going... and I even tweeted about it when it happened. I was sitting there like, I don't get this Doom trailer. That is basically we all knew they were working on it, let's be honest. That we knew a new Doom was coming at some point. But that kind of low-content stuff is just... It's basically an announcement of an announcement.
Well, you do realize why they did it, right? You had all the leaks and rumors about Fallout getting leaked, and they went, Doom! Look over here! It's Doom! They're trying to shove Fallout under the rug.
Yeah.
It's like, no! Doom!
Yeah.
Crazy dude with guns on his back.
Yeah. So, right. So, Player Nay.
Yeah.
Going back to that now.
Nay. Nay.
Pretty much for a lot of these.
Alright, moving on.
Let's start out with Magicka 2. Releasing for the PlayStation 4 on May 26th. Developed by Pisces Interactive, instead of Arrowhead Game Studio.
Who did that first one?
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the fuck I meant in my notes.
I wrote that note.
Oh, yeah, okay. And published by Paradox Interactive.
Wes, just hold you. Right now, pause the podcast. Don't stop it. Just pause it. Go to Wes's show notes. Look under Magicka 2.
Yeah.
And click on the link. Watch the trailer that Wes and I watched. While doing research, we'll wait.
Yeah.
welcome back. And now that you have that stuck in your head, Wes, what did you think of this game?
Honestly, I'd kind of dabbled around a bit in the magic. I'd heard of it. It's apparently really kind of hardcore, I guess is the word I'm going to use. It's really easy to light your friends on fire in this game. Sort of stuff going on. Oh, shit. Oh, what have I done? Apparently it's rife with co-op trolling opportunities, and Randy is literally stroking his mustache right now. Oh, God. I may have just changed his viewpoint on this game.
So this will be our first co-op, co-play game at some point.
Yeah, you don't even
not next podcast, but maybe the one after I buy this for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
and learn how to fireball you. This is a play for me now. To be honest, it was kind of a play before. It looks kind of top down.
Yeah,
maybe twin stick shooter. Like I didn't look at like the descriptions and stuff for it.
Yeah,
and we've talked about it. We've had several kind of those kind of games come up for Player Nate, and I've been interested in them. I'm definitely interested in this. The co-op always is fun in those kind of things. Now that I know that you could mess around with each other, this is definitely not a transparent effort to save myself from fireballing. I may be wrong. Either way,
but
but just from the trailer that hopefully you guys watched, it does look like at least has a sense of humor.
Yeah, and looks
behind
fun.
The scenes.
Yeah.
So maybe the game has a sense of humor too, and that would definitely be part of it. So yeah, it's a play for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go play too, reluctantly now, because now I'm going to get trolled all over the place by Randy. Fuck. Anyway, fun game all around. Why not? We're going to go ahead and go on now to the next game. We're going to go to Splatoon for the Wii U, releasing on May 29th.
And can I just say, like, I have a Wii U. I've had it for, month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
I play it here and there. It keeps, my Wii U tab is, like, next to my big TV.
Right.
Or my main TV.
Right.
And every so often, it just goes off about Splatoon. Like, I guess, like, I've never been able, like, usually the events that they are broadcasting about are when I'm at work, but they seem to be having, like, these free demos on Saturdays and stuff.
Yeah, they're actually basically stress testing the servers.
Which, I'm sorry, is awesome that it's like, hey, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I like my Wii U tab just throwing advertisements while everything is off.
I could see why that might be a bit of a problem.
Not as much a problem, just as
weird. Weird, annoying, not normal.
But I will say,
which is pretty much Nintendo in a nutshell right now. But
but Splatoon has looked interesting.
Interesting
to me.
Oh, absolutely.
The one issue which I'm mostly okay with is no voice chat, but it's Nintendo, and I understand what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah,
but. So that will make, gameplay a little bit more difficult. Though, really, if you want to, you get your friends, you get your computer next to you, you get on Skype.
Yeah.
And you do it anyways.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but this is a big play for me. I mean, obviously, there's not a ton of amazing games for the Wii U. This definitely looks like it could be one. Mm-hmm. So, this is a second straight play for me.
Yeah. Same here. Let's see. Basically, by the way, this game was developed by Nintendo's EAD Group Number 2. They're one of their internal development groups. This game I have basically had on my radar since they announced it at E3 last year. Because I looked at it, I immediately went, Nintendo doing a first-person shooter is not something I expected. Or, actually, I think it's third person, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
This type of game, if you had pitched this game to me without mentioning the Squid Kids, probably, but mentioned this third person shooter coming out, and with some of these mechanics, and obscured some of, the Nintendo-esque stuff about it, I would not in a million years have guessed that would have come from Nintendo. Like, if you had just told me about the mechanics of the game. Yeah. So that, right off the bat interested me. And then, a couple months back, Pro Jared and the Completionist got to spend some time with the game and they posted videos about it. And I watched those. And I went, holy shit. This game may be one of the primary reasons that that I buy a Wii U. And I know I've said that now about pretty much every system I don't have.
I thought you were going to say that about every game you've ever talked about on the Wii U. This is the reason why I get a Wii U.
Well, no, yeah, pretty much. Because the games we've been talking about on this podcast are pretty decent games.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3D World, I think, was,
And I will say, listen, I only have a few games for the Wii U. I will be the first to admit, the Wii U does not have a very large library of games on it, but they do have a handful of really awesome games that are only on the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And I think what happened with the Wii U is Nintendo just kind of got a little big for their britches. They had the lightning in a bottle success of the original Wii, and they went to capitalize on it while still maintaining their experimental kind of side, and they just kind of overstepped a bit, I think.
Well, it's one of those things, like, the hardcore gamers complained it wasn't in HD.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, they bumped that up, and I do like that for all the families that, have Wiis, all of their Wii stuff works on the Wii U. So, the way they made that makes sense, but those families are fine playing Wii Sports.
Right.
That's what they bought it for. So, for Nintendo to go, okay, everyone's going to take that step forward with us, it didn't quite happen the way they wanted, and, things happen. But for everyone saying Nintendo's messing things up, they've messed other things up. I'm not going to say they're a perfect company, but but as far as the Wii,
boy.
well, I mean, even recently,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the way they do business hasn't been the best. But I would say the Wii U wasn't one of those bad steps. It was just, instead of a giant leap forward, like like PlayStation and Xbox are trying to do next gen, the Wii was going, well, we just need to take a little step and stay that family console. Just, a lot of families didn't go with them.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I ever got around to saying this. Play on Splatoon for me. And, so now, we're gonna go from super cute, first-person shooter to, not quite as cute, fighting game that has really been around the block for a bit. We're gonna go Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is finally coming to the PlayStation 4 on May 26th. Of course, developed and published by Capcom.
Okay, Street Fighter, we get it. You do this with every Street Fighter ever. Next, we're gonna get Ultra Street Fighter. They made fun of themselves with the Dead Rising thing. Hey, give it a break with the Ultras and the Supers and the whatever. It's Street Fighter again. This is a name for me. I played it once as Street Fighter 4.
I was about to say, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition was one of the free games for PlayStation Plus, and we both got it, and we both kind of went,
Yeah. Like I've said many times, I'm not a fighting game fan, so a re-release of a fighting game, I'm not interested in.
The thing that's weird about this one to me is the fact that they've already announced Street Fighter V coming. I really don't see why they felt it necessary, with Street Fighter V coming pretty much exclusively to PS4 for the time being, why they felt the need to port Ultra Street Fighter 4 to the PS4.
Sales?
Yeah.
Play Street Fighter until you get Street Fighter 5. I mean, why did The Last of Us come remastered on the PS4? It's just to resell the game on another system.
So it's going to be an A for me, too. I've never been really much of a Street Fighter fan. Very similar vein here. We're just going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. Releasing on June 2nd, developed by High Voltage Software. Of course, NetherRealm Studios did the main version of this game that was on the current gen consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One. And published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. It's Mortal Kombat X for the PS3 and 360.
Yeah, it was an A for me on the new gen. I'm not going to get it for the old gen. I'm more curious about US. It has now hit a system that you have.
If I'm not going to buy it for PS3 because I'm hoping by September I have a PS4 so I can do Phantom Pain. Do it up right. And if I have a PS4, I might as well just, wait until I have a PS4 to do Mortal Kombat X. So the PS3 and 360 version of it is actually going to be a nay for me as well. Which is why I did kind of in a similar vein, because it's a fighting game that has, already has a version out that you might as well have just bought already. So, yeah, it's a nay for me as well. We're going to wrap up Player Nay now with another game coming to a system far after its original release. We're going to go with Terraria, coming out for the Vita, also on June 2nd. This game bounced around from developer to publisher, blah, blah, blah. The main ones I want to point out are it's developed... The original game was developed by a company named Relogic for PC. I believe 5SOS, I want to say.
505.
505, something like that. Was the publisher, kind of the guys behind, kind of doing the console push for Terraria, like the Xbox 360 version, the PS3 version, all that good stuff. I already own Terraria for the PC.
I do too, actually.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna go with nay on this because, honestly, I don't play it enough on the PC to want to go and play it on the Vita. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun little, Minecraft-like in 2D, and it's got some pretty interesting boss fights in the later parts of the game, but, not something I would feel like would be on the go capable to me.
See, I'm the opposite with you. I'm kind of interested on it because it would be on the go with the Vita. I played it a little bit on the PC. I bought it on one of the Steam sales or something like that, and have touched it here and there and haven't really been able to delve into it that much. But if I could get it on the go and just kind of play it here and there, I think I'd be okay with it. So this would be a play for me, actually.
Okay, well, I guess that's kind of an interesting point. I just think about, all the point and click you have to do to mine blocks and just kind of go, I don't really think that translates well to a console. For Terraria, I should say.
There are dual touchscreens on the Vita.
Well, yeah, I suppose that, yeah. So, at any rate, we are going to go ahead now, get to the meat of the podcast. We are going to start off, as we always do, with our co-played game. That's going to be Onimusha Warlords for the PS2. And that game came out, looking at my notes, March 13th, 2001 for the PlayStation 2. Developed and published, of course, by Capcom. In this game, you are Samanosuke, and I've forgotten his last name.
Who cares?
Who cares, honestly. Basically, you get dropped into a random point in Japanese history. Oda Nobunaga, I'm probably butchering that name, is a famous general. You join him, the game starts with him commanding an attack at a battle where historically he won, but for Onimusha's purposes, he gets killed. And that basically snowballs from there. And basically you come to try and rescue this Princess Yuki as Samanosuke, and things just kind of snowball into a big crazy ball of weird voice acting and demons and zombies for no apparent reason.
And the worst dubbing of all time.
Yeah, that too. To be fair, this was 2001. Voice acting was still, and the ability to have enough polygons to do lip syncing. Let's be honest here. Dubbing and that sort of thing.
I'm sorry, but when you get your gauntlet, which is a big part of this game, your main character sits there and talks. Nothing happens to his face. And there's another part at the end of the game where he talks and the mouth is kind of moving, and then his mouth kept moving, and he wasn't saying anything, and then the mouse stopped, and he talked again.
Yeah. And again...
So I'm not, listen, I'm not saying it has to be right on the beat all the time, but, I mean, show a little bit of effort.
Yeah. So, yeah... As you can probably tell, neither of us were really too enamored with this game. From us both kind of just opening up and ripping in from the word go.
Well, no, I think that's why I'm going to be ripping into this so much. Because there are glimpses of a really good game here. But there are so many, just flaws that make it difficult in the wrong ways.
Right.
That frustrate you.
Yeah.
Like the voice acting and the dubbing and...
Yeah. I was going to go into a control scheme.
Yes.
This is around a launch era PS2 game. The PS2, as you should know if you're listening to this podcast, came standard with the DualShock 2 controller, which has 2 analog sticks on it.
Which also, by the way, the DualShock controllers came out in the PlayStation 1. So it wasn't like, okay, here's something new, now get used to it.
Yeah. So, where this is leading up to is, in Onimusha, you get the ever so popular tank control style, which is you hit left or right to change where you're pointing at, and then you hit up to go forward, kind of control scheme, on the directional pad. So you kind of have to pivot Samanosuke towards something and then press up to start going towards that thing. Whereas, and, oh, by the way, neither of the analog sticks are used for anything in this game. And to see that in, like I said, a launch era PS2 game with a controller a standard controller that comes with 2 analog sticks. Whereas, let's be honest, PlayStation 1 era, yes, the DualShock did come out as a thing, but it wasn't the standard controller until near the end of the lifespan of the PlayStation 1. So, you couldn't always rely on them having the DualShock for the PlayStation 1.
But
I was just saying, countering the... Yeah.
Now you hit PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
it's not like,
there.
Well, it's there, but we're not used to that yet, so we're not going to use it.
Yeah.
And just 7 months after that, I'm pretty sure Devil May Cry used dual stick.
Yeah.
And got rid of the tank controls.
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm a defender of tank controls. Mm-hmm. In certain games, it works. In like the old Resident Evil games, it works. Because it's not about quick movement and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm totally okay with that. But when you are supposed to be this amazing samurai and you have stuff coming at you from all sides and you have to make quick movements, tank controls are not the way to go.
Yeah. No.
Especially when you're using the D-pad.
Yeah. No. It was... Yeah. And I agree with all that. And then, but to kind of go in another direction that was kind of weird, the block button. I think it's R1. Something like that.
L1,
it's one of the triggers.
It's one of the L1 or R1.
Yeah, it's one of the trigger buttons to block, but you have to be facing the attack.
Not always.
And it's really finicky on when it decides if you're facing the attack or not. So, but once you are, in that sweet spot, it just blocks everything as long as you're holding it down. Which I felt was kind of like, okay, decide whether or not you want it to be outrageously difficult to block or outrageously easy. Because it kind of felt like there was a disconnect between, you have to be facing the exact right direction, but once you are, everything gets blocked as long as you're holding the button.
Well, I kind of disagree, because I think there's times where I was facing the completely wrong way, and it registered. And I think the ones that weren't registering weren't as much, you weren't facing the right way. There are some attacks that... especially later on in the game where they'll swing twice, and you're just not going to be able to block both. I've tried. Maybe I'm just not that good. But I will, just to kind of touch back on the controls and stuff like that, the funny thing about them not using the dual sticks for movement and stuff is because they didn't completely ignore them. You do use the dual sticks by pushing down on the right stick to look at the map.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing you do with dual sticks is to push down on the right one to get the map. That's the only thing in this game that you use the dual sticks for.
Okay. And another thing about the controls, I would be able to forgive them for not, the default control scheme not using the sticks, if the controls were remappable. They aren't.
No.
You're stuck with what they intended, and fuck you.
And I think, kind of going back on your point where you were thinking if you have to face the exact way, I just noticed in the game that like hit detection is rough.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's early PS2. You give them a couple hiccups here and there. But it on top of the stiff controls and stuff, it was just tough to play. Which, again, I'm totally cool with like the demons coming in, and they have some really cool demons that come down that you have to fight.
Yeah.
Like there's times where it's like, oh, these guys again. But there's a good variety of them. And I give them credit for that, and it makes it interesting. So it's not like Dynasty Warriors where you're just mowing through different, humans.
Absolutely.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So it adds to that.
Yeah.
So like I said, there's glimpses of good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious about the sequels, but for this one, it just
yeah, it felt really stiff and weird and awkward. One of the things I have kind of down is I forgot how much this game was pretty much Resident Evil with swords.
Yes.
I don't know if it's kind of a product of, I think we both have had this game in our collections for a long time without actually playing it. And we just picked it up just because we were like, oh, I remember this game, we'll pick it up and we'll get to it eventually. And I think we may have just like conflated it together with like Ninja Gaiden, is one you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Pre-episode, I should say, pre-recording. And Devil May Cry. I think we kind of conflated it together with those two because we were expecting, I think both of us were expecting something a bit more dynamic, and yet we got D-pad tank controls and files that you read and
unskippable cutscenes
and puzzles that involve getting 2 halves of a crest into a slot to open a door. Like at times I was sitting there almost expecting to hear you were almost a Sam sandwich or whatever. Yeah.
So let's kind of get into that with like the puzzles and stuff. Some of them were there was a point in this game where you meet what's the girl's name?
Cade, something like that. Fuck if we're gonna
Kaede, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, so you meet her and then you work together. At that point in that game, I went, "Oh, this is turning into something awesome." Because those, like, there's like 3 straight rooms that are puzzles, and they were all so different. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like, it's taking a break from the tank controls and the stiff combat, and it's giving us interesting puzzles. Like, so the first one is not that interesting. One flips the switch and it opens the door, but shuts the other one. And you kind of have to. Yeah,
the standard. You've got 2 players. Let's
leapfrog them.
Yeah,
and then the second one is the floor puzzle.
Yeah, the spike puzzle.
Where one character runs up to a marking on the floor, and then the spikes come up and block him, and certain things open up.
Yeah,
and you have to kind of work your way to get to the one panel that fixes everything, which I did notice when you beat that puzzle, all the markings go away. It's not, they become deactivated, they just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then after that, you do one of those like sliding block puzzles where you're trying to get the two pieces of blocks together at the right spot.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of move the smaller pieces around. I can't think of what that puzzles are called. Sliding block puzzles, I guess.
Yeah, that would be about the term I would use, yeah.
So at that point in this game, I'm going, great.
Sweet, we were going to get some puzzles and
then the rest of the time, it's like, you fight Samanosuke, and then you switch over and you're fighting as her.
Yeah.
But you really don't want to because she doesn't.
All of her attacks suck.
Her attacks suck. She has no defense, and she doesn't have the ability to absorb the souls.
Yeah.
So there was no point.
Yeah.
There was another. Well, there are. I understand, like, you don't want to do like crazy backtracking to try to find an item, but there was a point late in this game where running up, you see a big chest right in front of you, and you open it up. It's a ladder. And you go, okay, where I'm going to use this. And you turned around and it went, would you like to place the ladder? And I go, couldn't have just been a ladder?
Yeah.
I mean, I literally turned and took 3 steps forward.
Yeah. to
use the ladder.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty dumb.
Also, there's one near the end of the game, and it's in the second half of the game, which I laughed about. I called it the controls puzzle. Mm-hmm. So you grab something, and then a bunch of axes start swinging, and all you have to do is walk forward, which in this game is difficult as hell.
Yeah.
So I had to start laughing, going, the creators are even going, listen, we know the controls are rough, so here's a challenge to get past our controls.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And given all this, I was actually, when I beat this game, I was amazed that they had the balls to do what they did by giving you a teaser to Onimusha 2. Which I'm not saying, is a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I don't own it. I don't own Onimusha. Warlords is the only Onimusha game I own. I've just heard that 2 and 3 are slightly better. But after playing through kind of the mess that Onimusha 1 was, to have them go, hey, you beat our game, here's a teaser for the sequel, I was just like,
oh, that was cool. I mean,
you think highly of yourselves, don't you? Yeah.
But it was, I mean, if other games did that, that'd be kind of interesting. I mean, obviously they made this to be part of a series. I mean, that's just the way the story went and stuff like that. But kind of before we hit the story, what'd you think? Like, there's not many of them, but what did you think of the bosses?
I'm not really thinking of one that wasn't like bog standard kind of Resident Evil kind of boss. There's like, the first boss is the guy that kind of just runs towards you and then beats the shit out of you if you don't dodge, and then the final boss just spams lightning at you, sort of shit, kind of going on, It's just, none of them really stood out to me. And it was just kind of like, well, okay.
I kind of agree.
Sure. Yeah.
And I will say, I wrote in my notes before I looked that Devil May Cry came out after Onimusha. That Onimusha was stealing a bunch of stuff from Devil May Cry. I learned that it was the opposite.
The other way around, yeah.
The things that I noticed that were Devil May Cry like, when you swing the sword, it's the exact same sound effect. Which
wouldn't surprise me, yeah.
But knowing that Devil May Cry came out after, it made more sense.
Yeah.
And I laughed at, there was a spot where a door is blocked by a bunch of ghosts. Which is done a ton in Devil May Cry, where you have to do something and then the ghosts go away or whatever. So I wrote Devil May Cry door, which you get by that door by ringing a bell, which I called the ghost dinner bell. Yeah. Because that's basically what it looked like. Yeah. Some of the things they try to do in this game, I just didn't quite understand.
Yeah. It's a good idea in theory, but in practice, I think it kind of went, I just was like, nah.
But like I said, there was a good game in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if they could have fixed the combat would have been fun.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you have to level up your weapons, and you can pick and choose which weapon you want to level up. Because you get 3 swords pretty early on.
Right.
And you can choose, you don't have to level up the swords. You have to level up the orb that comes with them so you can get through different parts.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But as far as the sword goes, you can pick which one's your favorite. But then they screwed it up by saying you have to have that sword equipped when going through the door.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah, some of those decisions really didn't sit well with me either. Like the orb leveling system kind of felt a little clunky to me, to be honest with you. I liked the idea of it, but again, it was just kind of the execution didn't really gel well with me. I didn't really like I felt railroaded into having to level up the orbs just to open the doors. Because what if I'm using one orb over the other, but I need to have the other orb leveled because I need to get through this door.
Well, they do fix that by going, you just get the orbs and then you go to the save point to level up whichever one you want. So you get to a point and go, oh, I need this one leveled up. So you go back and grind a little bit, a little RPG-esque. And then you move forward. Did you do the Dark Realm at all?
A little bit, not very much, not as much as you did.
I messed around with it a little bit. I mean, I only got through a few floors because I just wanted to see what it was like. And then after I beat the game, when I was trying to look things up, I realized we should have, because if you beat the Dark Realm, which I believe is 20 floors, you get something, an ocarina thing that right before you get down to the final boss area, you play it and it opens up and gives you the ultimate weapon.
Huh.
So at least it gave it a reason to exist, and not just an extra thing. So that was kind of cool. Do we want to talk about like the ending story in this game?
No, I don't really, because honestly, by the time I got to the final boss, I was just kind of like, meh. I don't really give a shit what's going on here.
Because you get down to the Dark Realm, and the two people that were captured were up there. And when he explained why he captured both of them, I couldn't help but laugh. It was, they have to use her for the ritual or whatever.
Yeah.
To make the general from the beginning of the game more powerful.
Yeah.
But they also kidnapped her quote-unquote brother. They're like brother and sister.
Yuki and Yumimaru, I think, are their names.
Yeah. Anyway, so they kidnapped him first because they want to make her feel sad and feel sorrow because it makes the blood more powerful for them, which made me laugh. It's sad blood is more powerful than happy blood, according to this game. And then you beat the final boss, and you have your little standoff in the demon world with the general as things go. And then it does this really weird "where are they now" thing.
Oh God!
Credits, which is why I wanted to ask if you want to talk about the story, because so they're talking about Cade, and she's like, "Well, she went to this dude, and his name is this, whatever." But she wasn't there for long, and then she went and traveled the world. But she died 12 years later. Yeah. And I'm going, okay.
Yeah. And then she died. The end.
And that's it. It was just so weirdly worded, and it was like we were watching a documentary this whole time. And then, oh, by the way, since we made this documentary, this is where they are since we talked to them.
I may find that funny because I just finally got around to watching the E60 about WWE.
Which is good.
Yeah, it is.
It. But
completely off topic, but yes.
So I was trying to look it up to where I wrote this note, and I was going to skip it, but then you brought up the WWE, so I have to bring up this point.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Okay, so I don't know if I just misread it, or what it was, because in Japanese culture, they'll put things to names.
Yeah.
Kind of put, what am I like we'll say general and captain, but they'll put.
You're talking about like honorifics like San and Salma.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Tatsu is one of those, because when they were talking to the little kid, I believe it was a little kid.
Yumimaru?
No, Hideo, Yoshi, Toyo, whatever. Excuse me. So he was one of the highest ranking generals. But at some point early in this game, because I wrote the note down because it made me laugh, they called him Yoshitatsu.
Oh, God.
And if you're a wrestling fan, you would have found that funny like me, because he was a wrestling name. So I'm wondering if Yoshitatsu got his wrestling name from playing Onimusha.
I don't think he was quite that big of a nerd. That'd be more something I would expect out of like Xavier Woods or Cody Rhodes.
I don't know. I don't know much about Yoshitatsu.
I love how this has suddenly turned into the Backlog Wrestling Project. We're just like...
Well, this is where Onimusha has gotten us, okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I will leave this game with one question. Later on in the project, are you interested in playing Onimusha 2?
Maybe. Honestly, just... I don't know, because I've heard some bug shit crazy shit about 3. Not heard, I've seen bug shit crazy shit about 3, because they actually got a Jacques Renault, I think his name is, a famous French actor, stars in Onimusha 3 as basically himself, if I remember correctly. And I'm just like, okay? Like, what the fuck just happened? So, to get to some of that, I might be interested in playing too. But if you were to ask me solely based on my knowledge of 1, I would probably go nay. But knowing some of the stuff I've heard about 3, I lean a bit more towards play, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
like, if I were going just off of what I played of 1, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. But hearing some of the stuff that happened later on in 3, sure, maybe.
Well, I have to say I haven't heard any of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know much of the history.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me I had played Onimusha 2 when I was younger, and that's what I was remembering with Onimusha, because, trust me, when I started Onimusha, I went,
yeah,
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, you literally messaged me with a what the fuck about 10 minutes after you started playing Onimusha.
Yeah, I'm going, I don't remember this, none of this, I didn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
But, so maybe it was the second one I was playing and was interested in, on top of, like I said, the first one had signs of a good game.
Yeah.
They just messed it up a lot. So I'm just curious if maybe they fixed some of that stuff, and then the second one is the good game that the first one could have been.
Yeah.
So the second one's definitely a play for me, and I hope we get around to doing it at some point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Never say never. So that'll about wrap it up for Onimusha Warlords. Let's go ahead and take a side trip into your game, sir. Yeah. We're gonna go with Altered Beast, which was a Genesis game, also released as on the PSN, PlayStation Network, I should say, and it was also on the arcade. This game was developed and published by SEGA, released in 1988. That's I don't know why I keep wanting to say 1998 instead of 88 today, but it's happening way too often. I believe that was the original Sega release date, and then it released in the arcades on August 14th, 1989.
Other round.
Oh, other way around? Okay.
Yeah, arcade first in 88, and then August 14th, 1989 for the Sega.
Excuse me, sorry about that cough.
And
enjoy that sound spike.
So, I kind of cheated. But it's part of how things work. So I went into this to beat Altered Beast for the Sega Genesis. That's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. Ever. Unless I was 10 years old again and had those kind of skills and had that much time on my hands and didn't rage quit as much as I do now.
Yeah.
So thank God for the PSN version, which is the arcade version, which has continues in it.
Yes.
Because the Genesis version, no continues. You just go. And I can get to like the 3rd level.
Mm-hmm.
I can get about halfway through this game.
Yeah.
When I really try on the Genesis. I can't get anywhere further than that. So yeah, just to kind of touch it, if you've never played Altered Beast, it's this side, you just go to the right and kick.
Yeah.
And every so often, a white wolf comes up, and if you kill him, an orb comes up, and you power up. And you power up 3 times, and then you become an animal, and then you just kick the shit out of the whole level. So basically, this whole game is, you start a level, and it's a pain in the flippin' butt, because you're this weakling dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once you finally get the first power up, you know, it gets a little bit easier. Then you get the second power up, it's a little bit easier. And then you finally get that great 3rd power up that transforms you into some kind of an animal.
Yeah.
And then you just wreck shit till you get to the boss.
Yeah.
Which then brings the difficulty back.
Yes.
But I wish I would have counted how many continues I used.
Yeah.
When beating it on the arcade version before I went back to the Genesis, because holy crap. I was probably using 6 or 7 continues a level once we got past like the first 2, and I'm sure on the last level I used 30. It felt like I would get 1 swing in and then die, and then it would get really frustrating when the wolf would be in a whole different part of the level and I couldn't get to him, and then you just start rotating, so basically you're basically going through a loop. And if you have powered up enough to become your animal form, by the time you get to the
where the boss should be,
Warlord wizard dude is standing there, then he transforms into the boss. If you don't, he just goes away and you repeat.
Yep.
And there were several times I had to repeat
because
I just couldn't get the white wolves. So thank God for the PS version, or PSN version, or the arcade version that had continues in it, so I could experience the full version of this game. Because the Genesis version's an asshole.
Huh. Well, that's some insight there. I can't speak for the Genesis version. I actually just can't speak right now, apparently. But I can't speak for the Genesis version because I don't own it. I do own the version on PSN, which is apparently the arcade version.
Yes.
Back before we started this project, back before we even started considering doing a project at all, I was doing kind of a solo run of kind of a version of this, the Backlog Busting Project, where I was going to just pick games at random, play them, and then write my thoughts down in a blog. This is actually one of the first games I played for it. And I don't remember having nearly as difficult a time as you seem to have had. Granted, this was probably about 2 years ago at this point, and I have not touched the game since. So, it may just be I'm repressing memories of rage. I don't know. But
well, that's the thing. The version that you played, there's not a lot of rage to it, because you just can continue. So, dying and stuff, I mean, honestly, playing the arcade version, I played a lot differently than I played on the Genesis version. Like I said, I died a lot, but it became a point of, I don't care if I die. Because when you continue in this game, it's not, you don't restart the level. It's like, it pretends you just do another quarter in, and you start right there. So on the arcade version, I just pushed right and kicked.
Yeah.
And if I got hit, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I just was moving forward. On the Genesis version, like I said, I can get to the third stage before I hit my game over. You get like 3 lives and then you game over.
Yeah.
I could get to the third stage without that. Because you play it a little bit more careful and back up and, kind of pace yourself.
Right.
On top of, the Genesis version is not as powerful. There's less enemies on the screen and there's just less of everything. So, it's, as far as that goes, it's a little bit more simple. I just wish it had continues.
Yeah.
So, with the arcade version, I did not rage on the arcade version ever just because I just realized, what's the point of playing this game carefully? I have an unlimited amount of quarters in this game. So.
Yeah. I guess maybe I just wasn't paying attention when I played it because all I remember was I beat it in pretty much one sitting.
Yeah. No, the arcade version I beat in one go.
Yeah, and but I don't remember having there be much of a situation where I was continuing that often. So I don't know. Maybe I'm, like I said, maybe I'm just suppressing rage or suppressing, my knowledge of, some of the reset mechanics. I don't know what's going on there. I was actually kind of surprised when I heard you say you were having difficulties with this game. I was kind of surprised until you explained kind of some of the differences, which I can understand. So.
And I will say, if you go back and play it, like even the arcade version, maybe in your playthrough you just got lucky. I won't even say lucky. You had more skill. I'll give you that of getting the white wolves at the beginning because. If you miss a couple of the white wolves right at the beginning, you're just F'd for a while in that level because it's bringing a bunch of stuff at you and you're going, I'm still, level 1 weakling dude.
Yeah.
And that's where I would die. I'd miss a couple of wolves and it'd be, well, I'm going to continue a few times until I can get to a point again where I can hit a white wolf. But,
Yeah. So.
But, as far as, Player Nay... I don't have much interest in playing it again. It's just...
Yeah.
It's a bit too...
linear.
Yeah, there's not much to it. Obviously, there's no story.
Yeah.
There's a title thing about something, like you're saving your girlfriend or something, but who cares?
And honestly, I think when a lot of people hear Altered Beast, all they think of is, Rise from your grave. That really... That voice clip that's
Which... In the PSN version, I don't know if it was just my TV or what. It was broken. It cracked the speakers in my speakers on my TV cracked when he said it because it was so much louder than. I don't
think that was the volume of it. I think that's literally how it's recorded.
Oh, it's terrible. It's different in the Genesis version. It's not as blaring. Or at least I just didn't remember it, or it didn't shock me as bad, I guess I should say.
So
I mean, it's skippable. I mean, if you've never played Altered Beast, you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
It's a part of gaming history, and people remember it, and it's probably way more fun to play the arcade version than the Genesis version. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like you didn't really enjoy it. I think I was going to write a mostly positive review for it back when I did the project. It kind of fell apart for other reasons. But maybe that's something I'll revisit if I have time this next episode, or in this gap between episodes, I should say. Time will tell. Check out backlogbusting.com if we decide to do that. Cheap plugs. And
yeah, actually, you know what? Speaking of cheap plugs, that is my challenge to you. First time ever in Backlog Busting. I challenge you, your blog this week, or next week, excuse me, is your review of the arcade version of Altered Beast.
Fair enough.
If you feel like it, play the Genesis version. I'll let you borrow it.
I'm not sure where my Genesis is right now, actually.
If you find your Genesis, I'll let you borrow the game.
Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, stay tuned for that, I guess. And we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. We're going to go into my game for this episode. That would be Fallout 1 for the PC. It was developed and published by good old Interplay Entertainment and originally released September 30th, 1997. This game is kind of, in the Gestalt, I should say. Not Gestalt. Wow, Zeitgeist. There we go, is the word I was looking for.
Isn't Gestalt the guy from Beauty and the Beast?
No, that's Gaston. Gestalt.
Is that where he keeps his women in his Gestalt?
God damn it.
I'm making a Beauty and the Beast joke out of this somehow, god damn it.
You know what? Be my guest. Boom! Headshot!
Well played, well played.
Woo! That felt good. Alright. Getting back on track to the game about a post-nuclear wasteland instead of Beauty and the fucking Beast. What have we done? Oh man. So, Fallout.
Yes.
It's a game set, an RPG set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, set in an alternate universe where after World War II, basically, the world diverges a little bit. I can't remember what the exact linchpin is, but basically, from the end of World War II on, things turn out differently, and in about the early 2100s, excuse me, it basically ends up with America and I believe it's Russia going into global thermonuclear war in the 2100s after America violently annexes Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, and basically it's due to energy shortages.
I'm just
basically.
kidding, Canada. I love you.
But basically due to energy shortages that all this stuff is happening. And the bombs drop and society crumbles.
Yes.
So, and you start Fallout 1 as a dweller of Vault 13. And what's going on is the water chip in the vault has broken. It's a computer that basically controls the purification of water. Without it, the vault will run out of water in 150 days, I believe is the original timeline. So the overseer of the vault, and the vaults have been placed for people to survive the nuclear apocalypse, because it was basically a given that was going to happen at some point. Anyway, so you're sent out as the vault dweller into the nuclear wasteland to go find a new water chip and fix the vault. So you start your quest from there, and you go through the wasteland helping or killing whoever you meet. Your choice, because this is a Western-style RPG and everything. You've got dialogue options and skills and all that other stuff to consider. And you basically go through the wasteland, find the water chip, bring it back, and then mutants get involved. Mutants that have basically been mutated by the radioactivity and a few different research things going on. I'm being vague here, because I do actually want people to go play some of this game. I think it's well worth playing, even though it's from 1997. But I really enjoyed my time with this game a lot more than I thought I would. I figured, that going back to an RPG from 1997 was not going to be very, or a Western PC RPG, I should say. Like, this style of RPG I didn't think would have aged well. I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So, but I was pleasantly surprised at how intricate, like the special system that's been, Fallout's kind of main thing throughout all of the games, is still very much in play here. The AP system makes battles interesting. The weapon variety is pretty decent, and there's a whole bunch of different armor and whatnot. And the traits looked fun. I didn't really experiment around too much with them, but I think at some point I'm going to go back and try to do a run where I have like the Jinxed and Bloody Mess perks at the same time, because that basically makes it so that bad luck happens to everybody, but when bad luck happens due to Jinxed, Bloody Mess makes it so that all of your enemies explode because of their bad luck. So apparently.
That's a good combination.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty amazing combination to me. For this run, I basically kind of went kind of a cookie cutter build, doing research online. I kind of saw that this was kind of where things were trending. I took some skill in speech so I could, unlock more dialogue options. I tagged small weapons and energy weapons sort of stuff, stuff that's easily found. So I didn't really have too much of a hard time with the combat. But I had fun with it. I never felt like I never felt like I was being cheated by the combat itself. Where I felt like I was being cheated was, I know it's 1997 and, PC interface and all that, and I may have just missed a shortcut or something. But you have to switch between modes of, what you're doing when you left-click on an object by just right-clicking constantly. And there's 4 different modes. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to be left-clicking on something trying to, attack it, and you'll just be examining it. Over and over. And then you'll go, oh wait, I need to hit right-click a few more times to get into attack mode. Or that sort of thing. And that's really only the only complaint I had was I kind of felt trying to right click to switch into the proper mode kind of got a little annoying at times. But other than that, the quests are well written, the characters are well written, the storyline is pretty good. And another thing I noticed was some of the stuff that I thought was just Fallout 3 changes was in Fallout 1 from the get-go. Stuff. The opening narration, war never changes. I thought that was something from Fallout 3 because I remember war never changes becoming kind of a punchline during the time when Fallout 3 came out around the same time as Metal Gear Solid 4, which kind of had a similar, opening line.
Did those come out at the same time? Really? Fallout 3 is not that old? Came out in Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah, wow. Around the same time, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because the Fallout series kind of had a bit of a storied history of weirdness going on after Fallout 2, because Interplay basically exploded on itself, and Fallout kind of fell into this, I made it funny, Fallout fell into. Anyway.
I'm still not laughing, but you can continue to explain it.
Yeah. Keep explaining the joke. Nothing funnier than an autopsy.
So what you're just saying is Interplay had a Valve moment and they didn't know how to make a third one of their games.
It's a little bit more than that, because here's kind of a tidbit for you. The director of Fallout 1 is, I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but Fergus Urquhart, I think, is how you say it. And that name may sound familiar to people who have been dealing with Obsidian Entertainment games, like, say, Pillars of Eternity, because Fergus is the CEO of Obsidian now. So, basically, Interplay decided to go in a different direction. They cut loose the team that did stuff like Fallout 2, and some of the earlier RPGs of that time. And they went and did their own thing, and Interplay never really recovered. But Interplay went down holding the rights to Fallout, and it became this tangled mess until Bethesda finally got the Fallout rights, and finally managed to get Fallout 3 put out. It's a really interesting backstory, and that's actually probably something I need to, or I could either do as a blog post or Google it, honestly, because it's really an interesting story that I don't quite have all the details straight in my head right now, because I didn't really expect to go into it, but it just kind of came up, and I went, give it a basic explanation. Yeah. So, going back to Fallout 1, though, it's, I honestly don't have much negative to say about it, which surprises me. I figured I'd be sitting there going into this game from 1997, looking at it from 2015 and going, nope. And really about the only thing I've had problems with was that right-click moment in the interface. Because there were so many times where I wanted to be doing something else than what I was doing, and I kept forgetting I was in the wrong mode. So I'd click and go, why no work? And go, oh, I'm not in the right mode. Right click. There we go.
So do you think you're going to continue on in
Oh, yeah.
Fallout? Okay.
Yep.
So speaking of, I don't know if you know a lot about Fallout. Like, I've dabbled a little bit in 3 and a little bit in New Vegas, but not, like, really gotten into both either very much. Are they all in the same universe, in the same timeline? Is it the same Fallout that created all of these different things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just different vaults, so it's always the same.
Different vaults. Fallout 1 actually takes place around the area of New Vegas, because one of the towns in Fallout 1 eventually turns into the New California Republic.
Okay.
From that you see in New Vegas. So yeah, so they are all in the same universe. Or at least I should say Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, and New Vegas are. I can't remember if Tactics is. I'm pretty sure it is, though.
Yeah.
Feel free to correct me in the comments if I haven't already done it in the show notes.
Even if you did. Comment. Yeah. I want to see comments.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, music-wise, it's all very atmospheric. Speaking of music, the main theme that was the opening theme to Fallout 3, which is I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire by the Ink Spots, they actually wanted to use that as far back as Fallout 1. But Interplay couldn't get the rights to it. So they ended up using a different song by the same artist, and I believe it's Maybe is the title of the song that's used in Fallout 1. And so that was kind of an interesting tidbit I found, that they wanted to use the song that, kind of had a resurgence with Fallout 3, because people loved that intro so much, was planned to be used as far back as Fallout 1. Was kind of an interesting little tidbit I found. The other thing I wanted to mention is there is voice acting in this game, which for a game in 1997, you'd think would be an oh shit moment. Not so much. I actually found myself enjoying a lot of the voice acting in this game. Especially the final boss is he's called the Master, capital M Master. And he's basically the entity that's been making the mutants. Into a stronger, like making the mutants stronger and combining them into an army. Because what happens is you bring back the water chip to the vault, you get the water fixed, and during your travels, you've been basically keeping a record of what you've been seeing off screen, so to speak. The character has been keeping a diary of what's been going on, what they're seeing, their experiences. The Overseer takes a look at this and he goes, I don't like the looks of this. Go out, investigate it, and stop it. And then you're given another time limit to go stop the mutant army. In the original game, it was something like 300 or 400 days of total time, because time elapses as you're traveling the map. Which is another neat mechanic, is, days actually pass by, and, you start, I think, in, like, June of 2152, something like that, but, you see days, months, and years pass by. And obviously none of the characters, like, die of natural causes or anything. The timescale's too small for that. But, stuff will happen if you're dawdling around. And in the original game, you had 400 days, and if you didn't, a quick blade of the mutant army storming the vault and game over. So you get done with all that, and you finally encounter the Master, who is this gross blob of, like, bioorganic parts. It's really actually kind of creepy. And then his voice is like a conglomeration of, like, evil dude voice, and then there's one voice that's like a woman speaking, and then there's another voice, and they all kind of speak at once, but at different times as well, and in different inflections. So he'll like the line will be, you know, I'll never allow you to stop me, and he'll just and then he'll say the main voice will say, I'll never allow you to stop me, and then the other voices will chime in at the end of the sentence like, never, never, you know. Never. And it's just like, you know, me saying it, you kind of got chuckled at me just now. I did hear a little bit of that, but when it's executed in the game, it's fucking creepy.
Oh, I bet. Especially when it's all going on at the same time and things like that. So.
Excuse me. Yikes. I've been talking for so long without water, my throat's kind of going. So, yeah, honestly, I didn't really have much negative to say about it. Good game. I'm gonna, at some point, I'm probably gonna do 2 here for the project, and then move on to 3 in New Vegas. I know you own New Vegas, so that may actually end up being a co-play when we finally get to that point.
I think probably 3 will be 2. I'll end up trying to find it, because I'm very curious about the Fallout series. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've dabbled in 3 and Vegas, and one of those people that is hoping that, you know, E3 brings word of the new one.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'd go as far back as playing, you know, the ones that you played here, but...
Well, they are available on Steam now for, like, I think Fallout 1's $10, which...
is not bad.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I kind of go is because I actually lucked out. I got Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics for free. I'm not sure if I talked about this back when I announced we were doing Fallout, or I was doing Fallout. If I have, oh well, deal with it, you're going to hear it again. But basically, they used to be only available on goodoldgames.com. And the rights came up or something, and Good Old Games was no longer going to be carrying the games. So what Good Old Games did was they went, well, we're going to not have the games for very much longer. Here, until this date, you can just take Fallout for free. And they offered Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics free of charge. And I was just like, click, 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 done.
And you, as the great friend that you are, didn't tell me about it at all.
I'm not sure if we were friends yet.
Oh, is it that long ago?
Well, either that or you weren't very much PC gaming yet.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm still not, but I'll dabble in PC gaming from time to time.
I'm actually kind of curious now because I've forgotten when exactly that was. I'll see if I can look that up and see when it was, and we'll go from there on that. So, did you have any other questions about the series, or about the game, as it were?
Late 2013.
Okay,
but I'm seeing an article about it.
Yeah.
So you just forgot about me.
Yeah, that's probably entirely true. Yeah. Yep. I'm a terrible person. But this was already done question based on some of the other shit I've done. Anyway, so that's about going to do it.
I'm glad you had more fun with your game.
Yeah. It was a pretty decent experience, and I'll be moving on to 2 at some point. Not sure about Tactics.
I like Happy West, even though I like to pick on Angry West about Hotline Miami. Got it into another one. So, do we want to talk about the games we're going to do in 2 weeks?
Yep, sure. Why not?
Alright.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, the game that we're both going to play is a game that just was put up on PlayStation Plus not too long ago. So, if you want to play along with us and leave comments and stuff, we will be playing Unfinished Swan for the PlayStation 3. I honestly know nothing about this game.
Yeah.
Other than it came out on PlayStation Plus, and we went, sure.
Well, I remember. I think I remember it came out at around the same time Journey did, so they both kind of got lumped together as kind of being artsy games, so to speak. It is what I have a vague recollection of. So yeah, But I don't know very much about it either.
So I'm very curious about how that'll go. The game I will be playing is Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64. It's one of those I've had since I started doing my video game collecting. I know it's supposed to be possibly a better version of GoldenEye, shooter-wise for the N64, but I'm sure it has not aged well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of... I've heard wonderful things about Perfect Dark Zero. So won't be touching that game.
Yeah.
And Wes told me that he really wants to play Hotline Miami 2, so we're going to do... No?
No. Just no.
Oh.
No, and once again, no.
Okay.
Although, thinking on it, given who made this game, the game I'm actually doing, I may wish for Hotline Miami 2 by the end of it. I'm doing Psychonauts for the PS2. Specifically as a PlayStation 2 classic on my PS3. So, that is, of course, Tim Schafer's cult classic platformer. The reason why I chose that game, and I did choose it this time instead of randomizing it like I usually do, is it kind of came up as something of one of the last examples of a straight platformer before developers like Naughty Dog started adding more twists into the platformer kind of genre. So, and while I was doing research for last week's article about crowdfunding and specifically Yooka-Laylee.
Yes.
So, I just kind of went, you know what? I own it. It's been sitting on my PS3 forever. Screw it. Psychonauts. So,
and that's what we do a lot here at the Backlog Busting Project is just go,
screw it. We're doing that. Podcasting by the seat of our pants.
That's what we do.
Yep. And another good example of it is how this episode's going to end, because it's basically going to end right about now, because we really didn't have too much time to do news roundup research.
And there really wasn't much. I mean, Bowser is now working at Nintendo.
Yeah, Doug Bowser is the vice president of sales, I think it was.
The Witcher 3 graphics weren't as great as they claim.
Yeah,
whatever.
Which, honestly, really, how are people not surprised? How do I want to phrase that? How are people getting surprised by that still?
And
I mean, yeah, I get why they're kind of upset, because yes, the trailers did look amazing, but in the day and age where stuff like Watch Dogs happens, if you are sitting there taking pre-launch trailers as any indication of the final product, you deserve to be pissed off.
Yeah, because they're going to clean those up as best they can and make them look as amazing as they can.
Yeah. So it's, to kind of go back to, I mean, I know it's a completely different game, completely different genre, but the Assassin's Creed Syndicate reveal the other week. If you go back and watch that, there is a point where they show gameplay footage of the new Assassin's abilities, and right as it starts, big text across the bottom of the screen. Pre-rendered in-engine footage. At least they're honest about it.
Well, I think they wanted to so they could stop with all the other crazy backlash. And
yeah.
People were more concerned about Brock Lesnar being in that game anyway. So.
Yeah, that's pretty damn amazing. One of the other main things that came across my feed that I personally kind of marked, but I'm sure Randy doesn't really have too strong of an opinion on. World of Warcraft, the lead designer basically came out and said one of the things that was kind of contentious about Warlords of Draenor, apart from how you say Draenor, is the fact that Blizzard actually removed flying from Draenor, which had been basically a staple of travel in World of Warcraft since all the way from the first expansion, Burning Crusade. They grounded players in Draenor because they wanted people to go out and explore the world more. We're now going pretty shortly going to be 2 patches into Warlords of Draenor, and basically the lead designer has said, we have no plans to bring back flying in Draenor, and right now we're actually considering not bringing back flying at all. Like the next expansion may not have flying in it.
Yeah, so a game developer spent a bunch of time creating a very open world with a bunch of stuff, and they want you to check it out and see all their hard work. Oh no.
Yeah.
This coming from a guy that when he plays games that has fast travels the hell out of everything.
Yeah.
But I totally understand where he's coming from. I mean,
to be fair, Warlords of Draenor has a lot of stuff where you get rewarded for exploring. So, I see why it's in Draenor, why they made the decision they did, but I also kind of see why people are pissed, because it has been, Burning Crusade, Wrath, Cataclysm, and Mists all had flying. 4 expansions worth of being able to fly from point A to point B at level cap, and, people get used to that sort of thing, and now they can't, so, if they want to fly, they have to take the in-game Griffins, and sometimes they don't take the best, the most direct path, the most optimal path. So, I can kind of see both sides of the issue. I lean more towards Blizzard on this one. But, be interested to hear what some of our viewers think. Yeah. Tweet us, comment, etc., etc. That's about going to do it. We kind of exhausted down the list. We're going to be hard at work now, doing some more prep for Metal Gear Month in August.
We also will be both guests
on four-player cooperative this week, so on 411, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, definitely check out that when I beat down West with my gaming knowledge. Check out, I'm hoping to get a blog out soon.
Yeah.
I finally have an idea for it.
Ooh. Shiny.
Well, it's difficult to get a thought in the brain. There's not many left. So when I have one, I have to go for it. Also check out 411 as we hope to both get a review or two out on that.
Yep.
I would like to say thank you for all the responses I got for the Super Metroid one I did a couple weeks ago. I like the discussions breaking out and that kind of stuff. So would love to see more of that.
Okay. So, that'll about do it for this episode. Tune in 2 weeks from now on iTunes, Stitcher, where what have you, where we've got Perfect Dark and Psychonauts and Unfinished One. Hopefully finished, though. Until next episode, as Will Wheaton once said, play more games.
And also, as Will Wheaton once said, I was obsessed with Ghostbusters. Hey, I can steal from him too.
Well, there's a stinger again. just cut on the Ghostbusters and then play the music and then just have me laughing to start with.
Just to let you know, and you can put this part in it too. Sean told me that he loves our stingers because he listens to them to completion, so it'll go on to the next one or whatever. So I told him what I was going to do to you for this podcast. And I looked up Will Wheaton quotes, and there's a website.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton quotes, and that was the shortest one. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
I had to do it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?